Zangpo.
Kamrimo.
Jazalappa.
Chajalo.
Namaste.
Hello, and welcome to the Summittimes. Sorry.
What is it called?
The Sikkim
Podcast.
The Sikkim Podcast, brought to you by Summittimes. And
which goes with the idea that we wanted to do something light now.
I know. So this episode is going to hopefully have some lighter discussions, lighter topics, and
something that will not get us trolled.
So we thought we'd start with some comments that we've received on Facebook regarding our podcast. The more recent one, which was on the CBI entry into Sikkim Podcast that we did, was from Mr. Sonam Paljar, who has commented. I'll read out the comment. The CBI is supposed to be the premier investigating agency of our country, having some of the best officers in its rank and files. The agency was altogether 7 divisions dealing with various subjects, and the track record since the Home Ministry took over in 1946 is exemplary. Of course, barring a few high-profile political cases which has brought in a bit of disrepute, I patiently listened to the panel in this broadcast, and I was of the impression that they were likening the CBI to the state vigilance in their work and merit, which I totally disagree. The panel was also giving negative jibes at the CBI infrastructure, which in a true sense is world class. The very fact that the director of the CBI is chosen by the PM, the leader of the opposition of the lower house, and the Chief Justice of India collectively speaks volumes of how prestigious the CBI is. So this was his comment, and we thought we like to include people who disagree with us as well, their comments, their views. It's all about sharing differing opinions and
building
views.
A conversation around it, And this was interesting. He seems to be the only person commenting to our podcasts at present. But of course, that's one of the ways of looking at how what CBI is. Everyone is entitled to their opinions. I'm sure CBI has done some decent work as well. It's just that, and yes, I agree that it's a prestigious organization. Whether it's an effective organization or not is what we were having doubts about, isn't it? And especially because it has been so politicized of late. And sure, and that's one point of view, and diversity is always welcome.
Yeah.
And the other comment to a previous one, to a podcast we had posted on 10th June. Was it 10th June? Yeah, on 10th June. What's up with the one family, one job scheme? Again, Mr. Sonam Paljar has left us a comment. And now I read his comment. Accountability for the whole OFOJ fiasco has to be fixed, and those responsible have to face the music. There are too many loopholes in the scheme since its inception that needs to be put into perspective. Why was the scheme in the cold storage for the past many decades, and why so much hurry in the threshold of a crucial election? I feel that the panchayat selecting the beneficiaries was not a good idea, as there were bound to be discrepancies galore. The DOP too proved inept by not putting proper official process in place. Whatever was the exact intent of OFOJ, it's such a tongue twister, no? Is by now known to all of us. But it's sheer cruelty to take thousands of innocent job seekers for a bumpy, uncertain ride. And we agree with it completely, with what he has to say. Yeah. And it would be nice if there were more voices or more people who kind of had an opinion on things of importance to Sikkim, and shared it on a public platform like this.
We would like to thank Mr. Sonam Paljar for taking out the time to
leave us rather long messages.
Yeah.
We look forward to the next message, and I'm sure he'll get a lot of meat in what we have to discuss today to bite his teeth into. Hopefully he'll agree with us more in what we have to say. Otherwise, some more brickbats next time then.
We thought we'll start with the more exciting 5-day week that now that's gone into a month?
Not a month, yeah.
Not even a month.
2 Saturdays they've had off, I think.
3 Saturdays.
3 maybe. 3.
Yeah, and
it's so wonderful
to see empty roads.
To be out on the roads on a Saturday.
Yeah. it's the traffic is much, which I never thought of that aspect when this was announced, the 5-day week. It's only when Saturday came, I went on the roads and I realized like it's so peaceful. There are less cars and less people around. What do you think, Uttam Daju?
5 days a week, for me, like, I'll keep on. I mean, like,
No, what kind of reaction from people?
reaction, तो I guess like, हम लोग को तो कुछ पता ही नहीं चलता है because it's just Sunday off नहीं.
We have a 6-day week. No, I think 5-day a week is I think for anyone who is
No, if you-
working, 5-day, a 2-day weekend is a wonderful thing to have.
Then today morning also I was discussing this 5 days a week with my family. I mean like not talking about like मेरो अभी सिक्किममा, I was talking the college days like we used to get like Saturday and Sunday off. Meaning Monday to Friday was quite hectic in a way, like गाडी पकड़ो बस में जाओ. So we used to spend around say 13-14 hours traveling, college, यो activities गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ. So Saturday and Sunday basically to like
Rest.
get
Rest and
together,
recover.
have fun.
Rest and cure is the
Right,
word they use, no? Stay
Care
cure.
and cure.
Okay.
So basically त्योमा चाहिँ justified नै थियो and I felt like
Okay.
the purpose of
Actual काम हो रहा था तो
काम-
छुट्टी चाहिए.
what I thought कि Friday movie change होता है, so Friday like late night movies हैन. By the time we get back घर पे it was like 2-3 maybe in the morning also. So
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday would make lot of sense नहीं.
Yeah.
लेकिन गान्तोकमा चाहिँ I mean सिक्किममा चाहिँ I mean like every day you feel like छुट्टी न छुट्टी जस्तो छ नि त. I mean like when you go to office you don't find anyone. अभी work culture might be slightly
Work
No,
culture
no.
does not improve in 2 weeks.
but I am like
Yeah.
यत्रो छुट्टी चाहिँ I don't know. I mean needed थिएन हो. Yeah,
That's what
there has to be.
Yeah,
जो काम
it's-
नहीं करते हैं वो तो जितना भी छुट्टी दे तो काम नहीं
काम नहीं
करेंगे.
करेंगे.
जो
Yeah.
काम करते हैं
So
बेचारे-
yeah, that's like my daughter said, like they've got Saturdays off now, as if they work the rest of the week, which I think is quite accurate. It's how a lot of people who are not in the government are reacting to it.
Yeah.
So in one way, I have
But people who are in the government
Are
are
loving it.
reacting. No.
no.
Are reacting to the half an hour increase in the.
Per like for the remaining
duration.
5 days.
It's become what from 10 to 4:30. No.
It should be 9 to 5.
It was 10 to 4. Now it's been made 10 to 4:30.
Yeah, as if
And people are like that Adha Ghanta also. I think no, not all of that. I've heard a few cribbing about that.
Mm.
Although that I don't think anybody's going to be there till 4:30.
I think they're there till like. Of course, there are some people who have to be there till 4:30. I'm sure.
Some
But
people.
do you think the government offices are like fully functional till 4:30?
I mean, by the time like after 4, I think everyone has
Body
already
heat
shutting
like
down.
nahi manta hai.
packed up. You know, you cut up all these files, these pack up करो, back करो, go to toilet, make up करो, and
आधा घंटा उसी में
आधा
चला
घंटा उसी में चला जाता है. I mean, it's not that कि
Yes. So all over the world, the 5-day week has worked, right? Because for what Uttam also mentioned,
On
right?
paper, it's very nice.
No, so it's worked because it. But then you have to have an established work culture,
Yeah.
which is lacking, right?
Yeah.
So I was just thinking as we started recording this. Now since Sikkim likes being the first of its kind, unique, and all those record things, they should have made it a 4-day week.
I know.
No, I mean.
No, 4 दिन week बना देते, 5 दिन like it's as if they're like
No,
working
if
for
you
the.
look at city culture, I mean, if you go to any of these
Yeah.
metros, right, even forget about private jobs and this thing, and even if you look at government, kabhi also morning they're there, you go and कति 5:30 सम्म चाहिँ छँदैछ होइन. So the schedule चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ नि, like from 9:30 till 5:30 or whatever, त्यो entire stretch चाहिँ they have to get in the office, होइन. They have to get in. So plus it's not only them, उनीहरूको चाइल्डहरू छ, नानी छ, बुढी छ होइन, are in the schools or colleges and this thing. So it's not one guy who's like spending 10 to 4 or 10 to 4:30. It's like entire that what do you call
Unit.
that cycle? Yeah. Unit family.
No.
So,
And,
one day is I mean, of course, like Sunday to it's like universal duty. So Saturday made sense.
Saturday.
Saturday made sense. So that family everyone like could get together kind of thing. This is pure culture thing. I mean,
Yes, yes.
Gangtok
Even
Yes,
I have
too casual.
worked in Delhi, right? So what you were saying, no, in Delhi, my day used to begin at 7 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, I had to leave, right? Not even 8 o'clock. Actually, I would have had to leave by 7 o'clock, but देर हो जाता था 8 बजे निकल के you travel 2 hours to reach your office. Then by the time you reach home, it's like 7-8 o'clock. So there is
The
no
stress.
time to do anything else, meet anyone, or you just go home, you eat your food, and you sleep. So then when it is like Saturday, Sunday, chutti, it's like wow, no?
and the other
That's
thing,
why it makes sense what
yeah,
you
the
were
other
saying.
thing what I feel
But
is
that
like
stress is not here.
यहाँ तो like yeah.
the other thing what I feel is like even any company like from government to private company also, I guess like more than that timing चाहिँ I think that work culture र productivity जुन चाहिँ हुन्छ नि उनीहरूले के प्रोडक्ट गर्न सक्छ within that time frame. I think that चाहिँ accountability यति साह्रो strong छ. But out here to like 5 भी कर दो 6 भी कर दो त
हाँ कौन सा रहेगा नहीं पेपर में ही तो करना है.
So I guess like I think government should I mean to एउटा work culture र त्यसको contribution त्यो सब
Yeah.
Which is why they have to come up with those funny circulars like the chief secretary issued about. He did something like Saturday, Sunday off does not mean that something like you have to work very hard the rest of the days.
I mean,
Yeah,
what-
did something
There was
like
a
that.
circular
Yeah,
on this
yeah,
5-day
yeah,
week.
yeah.
Yeah, they
I
make
mean-
sure that
I know.
people are
What
in
do you-
office and
I mean,
working.
what
I
do
mean,
you
like
expect-
we really have to say something.
what do you
like-
expect on the person who's like picking up the calls के call करते रहो like calls pick up गर्नु
No,
पर्छ त्यो
that's what. Remember, we met an officer recently who was posted in this remote Chungthang or somewhere. He was posted cop. So he said on Saturdays, rest of the week he'll never receive a call from his SP, but Saturday evening he'll definitely receive a call from the SP landline man. And he said that I knew why he was calling me. He was just calling to check whether I was in station or not, because every Saturday Sunday people would take off, no, whereas a cop has to remain there. So I was thinking like something, at least we cannot, I don't know, we can never get government offices to work properly,
yeah
right? But at least make sure that these people remain in office till 4:30. You know, work out a system by which if someone from the village, from the bastis is coming for some work to the government department and reaches at 4, when he goes there, his or her work will get done. Because the excuse should not कि आज उत्यो मान्छे छैन या घर गयो. At least make sure of that much.
Yeah.
Otherwise, तो ये तो मस्ती. That's why, like I was saying, make it 4-day week.
No, if they were professional,
You save on
yeah.
travel allowance and all that.
No, if government employees were professional, worked sincerely, 3 day भी हो जाएगा 3 दिनों में भी.
Yeah,
you just
one thing मेरो
कितना काम होता है?
वही तो.
नहीं मेरे दिमाग में वो नहीं आ रहा है what made government to say कि every Saturday I mean
I think
what's
it's
the main
no.
funda?
I think the funda is this goes back to the
Chocolate
is
time.
it ego tussle? No, because what did Mr. Chamling do the last time he won elections? He believed that the government servants supported the opposition,
Yeah, second
right?
Saturday.
So what did he do? One of the first things he did was he removed even the second Saturday chutti that they were getting. So SKM is getting back at that. कि आपने सेकेंड सैटरडे उड़ाया था, ये लो हम साढ़े सैटरडे उड़ा देते हैं, छुट्टी कर देते हैं, राइट? बिकॉज obviously there was no big press release which said that because we are doing this to improve the work culture in our government offices, because our officers will be working much harder from now on,
There was
they
nothing.
need 2 days.
This was
Oh.
just to like
But yeah, happy you supported me, so
No.
ये ऐश करो.
no, they said care and cure, so it is like
No, वो theme चाहिँ कहाँबाट आयो like what
Care and cure
what-
must be someone must have browsed Wikipedia में कहीं होगा 5-day week. Why does it
हाँ.
require? It's for care and cure or something like that.
government.
No, it makes sense everywhere. I think it's a one. If I was a
No,
government servant, I would love this.
Yeah, it makes sense. It is just to, it is like nothing to do with everything that this, I mean, not everything, sorry, but this is nothing to do with efficiency or to make the administration better or nothing like that. It
It's a
is like,
reward.
no,
Ash karo.
it's like, no, it is a reward, but I'm
Task
saying
karo.
even on paper they're saying care and cure, no, like you need to be, taken care of. The government employees need to be taken care of, which I don't understand why. They've
Yeah,
already very
pampered.
well taken care of here.
maybe the depression rate might होइन indirectly or
You
directly
know, it would might go up because if I cannot be
Yeah,
in
one
an
thing-
office and bossing people around, घर में I get bossed, तो डिप्रेशन तो और हो जाएगा ना.
एक बात मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि बिकॉज लाइक गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉइज छुट्टी का दिन में लाइक व्हेन यू लुक एट दिस सेगु क्रियाकन छुट्टी का दिन में कहिले जान्दैन नि त. They want this, I mean,
On a working day.
On a working day, I mean,
Yes.
even though it's like 45 or 48 and working days में जान्छ, because the thing is like, I mean, they're more happy to be in the office rather than being in a home and doing all that case. And किन अफिसमा चाहिँ त्यो साथी भेट्छ, you know, that golf shop.
समझ में नहीं आया.
नहीं.
No, this is, yeah, Uttam can be very kind of all over the place. What he's saying is, the way I would want to understand it is, and the way I understand it is something that we heard somewhere else also, like in the beauty parlor syndrome. Like on Sundays, you would think that Sundays beauty parlors are the most crowded, but they're not.
Yeah.
It's on working days that they receive their most clients. When people have come to office and then they're bunking office to go to the beauty parlor. Similarly, people would like if it's if and that happens, I'm sure.
So working day
If there's a Shegu or a Kriya on a Saturday now, or earlier a Sunday,
No one visit.
people will not go because of the घर में है ना. Whereas if it's on a working day,
then
they'll make sure that they go because like they're already out and like it's easy to bunk.
No, but
Do you realize it's easier to bunk office than bunk home?
yeah, I mean that's the I know that's the mentality जुन चाहिँ छ even like first like मेरो wife नि सर छुट्टी हुँदैछ नो one day गरेर चाहिँ like अफिसमा then they'll plan out कि who all are going then taxi त्यो क्या सबैले गरेर चाहिँ
जो छुट्टी के दिन चाहिँ नहीं जाएंगे उसके एक दिन आगे चले जाएंगे.
No, but you were saying people enjoy being in office. I didn't understand that. No,
No, because they can bunk and go out with friends.
not
and
bunk अब यस्तो हुन्छ नि घरमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ नि खाना पकाउनु यो घरबाट खाना ल्याउँछ then all the त्यो साथीभाइमा टिफिन सेयरिङहरू के होस्. So office it's more lively than being at home and that नानीको ट्याङ ट्याङ कुङ कुङ doing dirty works, your laundry, you
dirty works. Okay.
I'd like to know more about the dirty works.
Let's move on to another exciting topic, which is
traffic.
Victimization. That the
transfers.
The SKM government had, like, as soon as it came to power, they said, "हम तो नहीं करेंगे ना victimization." एकदम we are not like we don't believe in revenge and all that.
They said that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They said that all in the press conferences and press releases also. So, but then few weeks later, like massive
reshuffling
transfers and reshuffling happened, and the most talked about of the victimization with especially on social media was, I think, of the ADGP, Akshay Sachdeva. No, he was ADGP Vigilance. He was Fire में था?
Fire में था.
Fire में, yeah.
Then
ADGP is itself like the second in command.
Yeah. So he was transferred to the post of recovery officer in State Bank of Sikkim.
Yeah.
And that was shocking. At the same time, it was kind of not expected. We didn't know that this
it was
possible.
expected. I mean, something like this would be expected, but who even knew that such a post exists?
Yeah.
And that an IPS officer can be put there. So in that sense, yes. But then SKM and Mr. Sachdeva have a long history, right? SKM really hates him. But yeah, so that is there. No, but this is an artful dodge in a way, you know, because all of us because something like 100 transfers took place that day, right? Police mein. And all of us got caught with this one big.
No, but there were a lot of other.
What we did not notice and what we really don't have the capacity to understand as well, because that's such a political move, is we should have looked more carefully at the PI and SI level transfers within the thanas, because that gives you a sense of how the chessboard is being played, right? And at one level, I understand transfers after a new government is formed, because you want officers you trust, officers you have more faith in, you want them to take on the more important posts, right? So that much is expected. It happens with every government. It does not necessarily mean it's victimization. It's just that you want people that you trust around you. Victimization, I think, is in many ways very unique to say. No, I think it happens in South states also a lot. But what we should probably have spent more time trying to understand and figure out is how the thanas have been restaffed, because that should give us an idea of how these things work. And we all lost that in this big
transfer with Akshay, right? Everyone was so focused on that,
Yeah.
and there were 100. You could not possibly report every single transfer that
Yeah.
took place. But that'll be an interesting one to look out for. And there've been transfers in that bureaucracy as well, right?
No, I was not very. I was excited at first about this. The first one that came out of the BDO being transferred, a teacher who had been posted as a BDO was transferred back as a
Teacher.
repatriated as a teacher.
Hmm.
Repatriated both them.
Yeah.
As a teacher. At first, I was very happy, thinking that
This cross pollination
Yeah,
has
this-
been discouraged.
yeah, this is good. I thought maybe this is how new governments, the advantage of having new governments, new parties, change of governments. But later, then again,
We saw some other teachers.
some other teacher being posted as BDO of that
Yeah.
at that same place, and I was like, this is like nothing is going to change.
It's not.
It's going to remain.
I
the
think
same.
the people who need to put their foot down should be the bureaucrats.
Hmm.
They should say that this is not on.
Hmm.
A teacher has trained and has experience in teaching, so keep them in schools. The schools
Mhm.
need them. A bureaucrat has received training for administration.
Hmm.
Let them administer. This bringing teachers, bringing engineers to run departments, bringing this.
Doctors also.
This has to really be
Stop.
like administration should be an exclusive job. Maybe they'll learn to do a better job
I know.
just by sheer practice, which is wishful thinking really, but it's better than
Yeah.
the other options they're throwing at us. Like, what does, for instance, what does a teacher know about administration really?
That was very disappointing.
Yeah, and
I mean,
engineers.
They should just do away with it.
And engineers running departments
Mm.
is also, or doctors running departments. I mean, these, because that's not their training, right? And you're wasting their skills by occupying them somewhere else.
Moving on to our next topic, the lack of the taxis for locals in Sikkim. Every year it happens
Every
during
tourist season.
tourist season. And today my cousin was telling me, in the gadi, last time, a few days back when she was waiting for a
Oh.
taxi. So there was this taxi going to Bojagari, so this lady was looking for a taxi going to Bojagari.
Mm.
And so one taxi said, "Nahi jana hai. I don't want to go." This other taxi said, "Okay, I'll go. 100 rupees. Share taxi, 100 rupees per person."
Wow.
And this lady went crazy. She's like, Facebook ma halidinchu ma timro video gerera ma Facebook ma lagaidinchu. And then she was going on screaming at every taxi driver, it seems, तिमीहरुको photo लगाउनु Facebook ma.
अभी तो
Yeah.
ये भी हो गया ना, like the first thing where you trade in bang is like Facebook पर हालिदिन्छु.
Facebook मा.
Yeah. No, but no, this actually links back to the 5-day week thing we had, right? You were rewarding people for having done nothing, right? If the administration had really excelled for 6 months, like doing like exceptionally good fluid work, and then you say कि चलो 2 दिन ऐश करो, then I understand the whole reward system, right? What people don't understand is that is there any responsibility on a taxi driver in Sikkim? Like when a taxi driver gets a license, it's not a favor you're doing him, right? Or gaadi ka malik, whoever. When a taxi number is given, it's to earn a living of a service that he's going to be providing the people. Anywhere now, people in Delhi and all these other places understand that technically a taxi driver cannot refuse a fare. If I tell a cab that I'll reserve you to go to Bojugadi, I'll reserve you to go to 6 Mile, Chandmadi, Chonge, wherever, the taxi driver cannot say ki Jandina. In Sikkim, they say that with no problem. Because no one has told the consumer here that you have a right. This guy has been given this license. Like, for instance, Chiring has been given the taxi license instead of Uttam, right?
Yeah.
Someone else did not get that taxi number. So means you got the chance to make a living. You also have some responsibilities by law, right? You can, when you are a taxi, you cannot refuse a fare. Charging 100 to too much ho gaya. That they should have just called the traffic cop out there and told him, please chalan him.
Yeah.
This is what he's asking
Yeah.
for. So this is absolutely not done. But at the root of it is, no one is talking about what Sikkim really requires. A proper, reliable public transport system.
लेकिन this regarding this public transport, like if you look at hill station, this is Shimla में, Of course, like यहाँ पे you don't have like apart from government का bus, city runner, private transport system, त्यो छोटा सा taxi, बड़ा गाड़ी में like what do you call this? त्यो टेम्पो ट्राभलर टाइप where you have like 10, 15, 20 people होइन त्यस्तो सिमलामै त छोटा छोटा वो भी थे होइन like I mean it's the same.
Everybody has, everywhere has.
Why
Except-
Sikkim में they
I
don't
know.
like allow or
So I remember, it's one is because no one is talking about
वही
it.
तो mini buses.
yeah but what I mean to say is yeah mini
Yeah, nobody is
exactly,
even.
I know.
First is because no one is talking about it, right? The government thinks कि 5 day week कर दिया तो हो गया काम इन लोग का ना. आम जनता तो कौन केयर करता है? I don't know. That's probably what they're thinking, right? Otherwise, imagine what mess for the last 1 month getting around Gangtok has been, and no public representative, no government officer has said anything or attempted anything.
because जैसे आप और हम जब सिलगुड़ी we go होइन I mean we feel more convenient or easier to park our car in the hotel and either take that
The tempos they have.
10 रुपये if you have to go work होइन यहाँ पे it's like you are compelled to come in your private taxi होइन and that त्यसमै ट्राफिक जामहरू हुन्छ the time wasteहरू हुन्छ so I guess like त्यो private या government त्यो जुन चाहिँ small mini
One
bus-
limitation is, of course, the roads are so narrow. So, but
No, I mean,
something
spread
like
it
those
everywhere.
smaller buses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
spread
you
it.
got to, unless you discuss it, how will you come up with
No,
solutions?
my problem is I was just thinking right now, like why does it have to be a political party, a politician who has all the control and decides what is to be done? Bureaucrats, like kuch to they should force some things upon the politicians.
What about
Yeah.
No, I mean-
When have you ever in Sikkim's last 30 years that I've seen of Sikkim, I have not come across one instance where a bureaucrat has come up with an idea.
Like, what about
No,
this
wait, though, that's so sad.
carpooling को success भयो होइन?
Although they are the guys who have the expertise, right?
Yeah, they have the expertise.
They'll come up with the kind of ideas they'll come up with is, oh, I've got friends from the IIT. So why don't I do something with computers and force that down everybody's throats in schools? Or I've got friends who are doing road planning in Delhi. उनको ले आता हूँ छुट्टी भी हो जाएगा. They'll do something for Sikkim and they'll come up with nothing. So yeah, I mean that's a problem. But
no, because
Yes.
yeah, so because this is not this year. Like it's been almost like 5 saal to at least. I think the past 5 years this has been a big problem. No, every tourist season. Otherwise before that there was no problem like that. I think I mean it wasn't at such a big scale, but now it's like 5 years and you have still not even like you are ऐसे करते
you're not even recognized.
हाँ, they will. I think at the most what they'll do is they'll come up with this grand plan like tunnel खोदेंगे and ऊपर से ये करेंगे and वो करेंगे जिसके लिए ऊपर से अप्रूवल चाहिए and all that. No, तो नहीं हो सकता. हाँ,
पैसा भी चाहिए
पैसा भी चाहिए तो हम तो कैसे कर सकते हैं?
दिमाग भी
हाँ?
चाहिए. I mean,
दिमाग तो चाहिए
टॉयलेट पेपर टिश्यू पेपर के ऊपर तो कोई भी बना सकता है.
But
plan.
like this mini van thing,
Yeah.
उसमें क्या चाहिए?
So I think-
you just need to give license. You just need to
Yeah, it's not as simple as that. For instance, Sikkim has this weird system of where the SNT controls public transport.
Okay.
SNT
So, SNT, na?
Yeah.
You cannot. If I'm constructing a house, and I calculate that the trucks I need to hire every time to bring or take things, so it's cheaper for me to buy a truck,
yeah
right? Even if you buy a truck to use on your own work site, you still have to pay SNT something like a supervision fee, I think.
yeah
So SNT वो राजा के ज़माने का सिस्टम है, ये पुराना सिस्टम है. Maybe it worked at one time. It's obviously lived out its utility anymore. So it's not so simple as giving any. Why do you think there are not more buses going to Siliguri? It's for the same reason. One is that reciprocal drama that they have happening with West Bengal or whatever. The other is that getting because SNT controls everything, no? Getting them to loosen their grip is going to be crazy. I think in the private, why there are no private buses or private mini buses or whatever it is, right? That is not there is because of the same reason. You try going. Tomorrow let's make an application to SNT, to the government that I want to start a private bus service to service Gangtok. नहीं मिलेगा.
तो खुद तो क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं फिर? खुद करो ना फिर.
खुद को करना नहीं आता है ना. Otherwise, shouldn't SNT have planned by now? Most of SNT's buses will be occupied with police, army duty, right? We don't know what timings the city runners run, right? Someday someone will book it for a wedding, Someone will book it for a
Tomorrow.
picnic. Tomorrow, entire
Yeah.
department is going. We don't know whether tomorrow that bus is going to come.
वही तो
on.
timing नहीं है. They keep saying we have last time also. I mean
Yeah.
I'd done that story, but I'd never
वही
seen.
है, if we like with everything else, paper में तो है.
Because in Simla, like the minibus that I talked was that railway you get it, that क्या बोलते हैं bus park where it starts the entire.
As if we remember, like
I
from
know.
30 years back.
I mean every city there's a एउटा त्यो point होइन bus अड्डे के
हाँ,
भन्छ
bus
होइन
अड्डा.
त्यहाँबाट सबैजना it
हाँ.
goes to
Yeah,
every
yeah.
direction होइन so वहाँ पे timing भी तो होता है so I guess like people like if you look at Western Sikkim सबै बाटो खन्यो बाटै छैन पैसा खायो and instead of just blaming होइन corruption forget about at least present problem को चाहिँ के छ भने I guess like road मात्रै न्यारो स्यारो भएन नि त at least यो factor also होइन comes in जहाँ चाहिँ हाम्रो ट्राफिक प्रब्लम र कसरी सल्युसन हुन्छ that also
One of the other problems you'll have if the government increases the number of buses or some private player comes into the passenger bus service for Gangtok, taxi drivers will protest. It happened. The first SDF government in '94. At that time, there was not even a traffic problem. There were not even enough taxis. They had come up with a city runner proposal at that time to have a public transport thing. Taxi drivers went on strike. हमारे पेट में लात मार रहे हैं. And the government backed out. Because लोग भी तो डिमांड नहीं कर रहे ना, like just putting a post on Facebook saying, oh what, everybody is sleeping, I don't get a taxi, नहीं होगा ना. You have to come together, you have to petition your councillor, you have to petition your MLA, you have to build this pressure on your representatives to do something about it. No, that is not happening. Everybody thinks that they can vent on Facebook and like that's the हो गया.
because of the I think in
Taking out your own car is also a headache, no? Because you're still stuck in a traffic jam. And
मेरो साथीले न्यूयॉर्क में you'll see saying he has his own like Toyota car के I mean उसका रेस्टुरेन्ट न्यूयॉर्क में है so both आफै भन्छ कि त like एउटा चाहिँ चिप पार्किङ त्यो स्लट हुन्छ नि त if you have to go and park it एउटा चिप पार्किङ चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ भेरी कस्टली हेरे नि त I mean the government has made such कि गाडी लगेर पार्क गर्ने if you have to park in that area is very costly okay and he himself भन्छ मेरोमा गाडी छ but I just go to that cheap parking rather than tram या public transport जो भी हो I use that so त्यहाँ चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टले यति साह्रो लाइक कम्पल्सन बनाएको छ कि इभन दो इफ यु हेभ लाइक इफ यु वान्ट टु पे वेल पे होइन त्यो भाइ होइन बट द थिङ like if you look at the percentage of 10-15% might afford to go for that
in places like Delhi also my friend गाडी they'll metro सँग जान्छ they'll take the गाडी till the metro station they'll park the metro गाडी there and take metro
that kind of thing किन यहाँ पे
because so what we already know that getting a गाडी and going to town is you will not get parking right so since space has come at such a premium now parking space increase it no the cost of parking
it has worked on me I'm telling you this private parking place in MG Marg when they increased it to pata nahi 50 or 100 rupees per hour I think twice I parked my car there after that I said nahi
petrol dal देंगे इसका
I parked my car here only and I walked
I paid those I mean my daughter Manipal Brown मैले भने you should have told me हैन Manipal come to Manipal and pick me up नि खाम like 5 hours 200 रुपैयाँ दिया ना मैं private parking
खामा खाने ना see that's what I'm saying so if you make it a premium
so then what I'm saying is then I park my car here and then I walk nowadays no I take the effort to walk up to town and instead of paying
like we have like Puran office free parking so leave a car चाबी छोड़ दो but मैले भनेको people if you look at people in half the parking lot मा चाहिँ गाडी सडक के टायर भी पंक्चर होके बैठा भए
that is something
and traffic police
occupying space
and traffic police हैन अलिकति कानाको क्लेम लगाउनु छिट्टो हुन्छ कि at least यो नि all this public जुन चाहिँ parking spaces मा at least त्यहाँ नि गएर चेक गर्नुपर्ने कि जो सडकमा गाडी
no already parking space is कम्ती ऊपर से this kind of misuse of parking space should not be tolerated at all forget about it उसको तो फाइन लगना चाहिए
premium I mean, they just made parking a premium made people pay more people would then think twice before getting their gadi out you're already thinking twice because parking ही नहीं मिलता but where is the backup no
Wait though, like me, I stay in Bojogari and I would love to take public transport, but it's such a problem for me, especially at night. Morning though, okay, little bit it is better, but at night though, I cannot think of going back. It's very difficult. Public transport in here.
when this आप बोल रहे थे like this strike कर दिया this कर दिया, supposing what if tomorrow है ना a viable item जैसे private entity में mini bus गर्ने, won't that government like they earn through like tax or what?
Yeah, but numbers come hoga na, and that is a new entity. I don't know. Of course, like for people's convenience, you should be doing these things. By now, they should have done something. Like if a taxi stand, I'm just thinking aloud. If a taxi stand, right, is a political force, let's say Devali taxi stand or 5 Mile Tadung taxi stand or Bojugari taxi stand, whatever, Chandmari taxi stand. Then if I'm going to respect what they say, they also have to bring something to the table, no?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Which means, like with the hydel projects, mein bolte hain na, that a minimum of 10% of the river's original water has to be released into the water.
You last time, yeah.
They should be told to make a commitment that even in peak tourist season, we will have at least this many vehicles plying this route.
Or maybe like say for the first time मेरोमा license छ, म गाडीको registration गर्दाखेरि maybe make it mandatory कि 10 सालसम्म चाहिँ which अभी सब route छुटा दिया ना बस like
What? While getting license?
नहीं registration license तो
while registration, yeah.
It's become त्यो route
No, which is the stupid thing government is getting into, right?
Ranka stand.
How is the government? How is the government department officer, right, who never takes a share cab,
Yeah.
know कि किस taxi stand में कितने taxi को देना? Let the market decide that.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Let the market decide that, because if there are too many taxis, automatically the market will not support and they'll have to go somewhere else. There'll be some free agents who keep just driving around picking up people on any route. Why should it be made a monopoly and given exclusive rights? You give a taxi license and let the taxi and the taxi driver figure out where he's going to ply.
Yeah.
You bother with policy, no?
I know. That's why.
Transport हो department यार, तो think about transport. Don't think about कि उत्तम को कौन से रूट में चलाने को भेजूं, उसको कौन से route में.
Like this Ranka stand can't go to Lal Bazaar.
Like, how does that make sense? Why should it be like that?
Why though? I didn't
I
know
mean,
that.
it's there. I mean, like Ranka stand. If you
No, but you're allowing it. Sikkim has this old habit of doing this, right? At one time there was, remember this thing कि district taxis, non बाहर का district का गाड़ी भी नहीं आ सकता. Like demand तो कुछ भी करेंगे ना.
Yeah, I mean,
Demand तो कुछ भी, like if the media was slightly more organized, we would have demanded that newspapers from outside Sikkim should not be allowed to sell in Sikkim. बात तो वही हो गया ना, कोई सुन लेगा तो damn good for me, no?
Yeah.
Just because someone raises a demand doesn't mean that you grant it. I mean, there has to be, your priority are the people or the people who are like the.
So basically, then what you say is like, is the people who should like stand up.
I think so, because who will flag this as an important issue? And when the moment an MLA realizes कि यार लोग गुस्सा हो रहे हैं मेरे से, I keep talking about.
Online
I keep talking about CBI and I keep talking about corruption and all these things, but I'm forgetting the basic requirements of the people. Then he'll talk about those issues.
No. I'll
Start a campaign?
I'll start a online petition. वो होता है ना change.org or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, let's see.
Okay. All right, we should end the podcast. Any last words?
Last words. Yeah, for while we are on taxis, I don't even understand why only certain vehicles can become taxis and others cannot.
Why though?
Like random.
Man, last word say what I feel is I think ये जो taxi का and all basic जो I mean आम जनता का I mean day to day जो होता है I think this should be a what do you call that त्यो के भन्छ a burning point या जस्तो भनौँ न rather than talking about Golden contest or no CBI bringing
This
which are
affects
also
us.
important issues.
are also important but आम जनता
Day to day.
Not at the cost of other very.
Yeah, I mean like you have this somewhere you like Singtam में you have like 48 hours no power बत्ती नहीं and यहाँ पे 100 like you have like छोंगे में 12 hours 13 hours बत्ती नहीं होता है oh, so all that basic
yes
has to be
people have to talk about it more.
and I think public I mean
has to
every
be
has
जागरूक.
to जागरूक and stand up for because अभी जैसे रास्ते का I mean the traffic all the thinking कि बाटो सानो भयो बाटो बिल्डिङ ठुलो भयो but I guess like बाटो only doesn't play the factor of like जुन चाहिँ ट्राफिक मा हैन even
बाटो जति ठुलो बनायो भने पनि
Parking गर्दै थियो.
गाडी
even
parking
मेरो
गरेर सानो
गाडी
I know.
छ हैन but still I feel कि I'm like more फर पब्लिक ट्रान्सपोर्ट होइन जबमा सुविस्ता पायो भने चाहिँ होइन बरु गाडी
prefer,
थन्काएर
त्यही
मेबी
त।
इन विकेन्ड्स गाडी लगेर होइन बच्चेको साथ पिकनिक लाइक
5-day week का फायदा.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening to our rants. And
Yeah.
we'll be back soon with another episode.
Bye.
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 Signing off.